Yeah, let's talk about Candyman. Candyman.
Oh,
Oh,
Candyman.
Candyman.
So let's talk about Candyman today.
Yeah, Candyman. Well, let's not talk. Let's not say his name 5 times, but let's talk about Candy name. Candy name.
Uh,
Yes, Candyman.
Candy name. Candy name.
Candy name.
We're not talking about the new one. We haven't seen it quite yet, but we're going to be talking about the original, which neither of us have watched before. And we'll get to why Dinko has not watched it later on in this episode to kind of give some background and some of where we're going coming from. But Candyman, the 1990s movie, it's like peak 1990s suspense horror movie. Like, that lovely vibe that those 90s movies have.
I think that the intro in that movie, or the intro sequence, basically describes. Hello, we're like in the peak, as you said, a peak 1990 movie.
Yes, we discovered that you can put a camera on a helicopter and fly over a city.
Exactly. It's like no Jones, but we do have a helicopter, so let's fly over the city, and it's so great.
It is, and I don't know what it is. It's this like clean grit that it has to it with like 90s movies. Like in the 80s, you've got that grit to the films, but in the 90s, it's like that clean grit. Does that make sense?
No.
No.
No. Well,
No.
I get what you're trying to say, because I agree. But actually, no. Okay, it makes sense because I understood it, and I'm not able to explain any better way. So yeah,
Do you have a better way of explaining it?
yeah, no, it got that clean 90s grit. I agree. Yeah.
It's like, in the 1980s, it's like if you went down to the river, just scooped up some dirt. There you go. There's the grain and the grit. And then the 90s, it's like you went down to a beach, picked it up, and then washed it. But it's still gritty, but it's there.
I like that metaphor definition description. Yeah.
Yeah. Analogy.
And yeah, metaphor definition description analogy.
Yeah. So what did you think about this movie?
Overall, or
Yeah.
anything specific?
Let's do it overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts on this movie. Okay, I enjoyed this movie. Throughout, I was happy with the result. I came in with no expectations, so I was kind of just happy with it. I can't really say much more than that. I just thought I agree. I liked a good few things, and I disliked other few things, and it balanced out to become a good, decent movie for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too special.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what would you like out of 10? What would you give the movie?
I would give it a 6.7, maybe.
Okay.
7.
Okay. I would give it probably about like a 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good time watching it. I would probably watch it again, which is why 7.5. Usually if I'd watch it again, it at least gets like a 7 or 7.5. And I think there were really good moments in it. Like there are moments where I was like really like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I agree with that.
The tension, like they really nailed the tension in this movie.
Oh, definitely. So basically, in the middle of the movie, I got like a notification on my phone, and I got another notification on my phone, and another one, and I kind of picked up that I got the notifications on the phone, but I was so focused on the tension, like on the movie, like everything. My eyes were just all in the movie because I was really drawn into the experience. It just kept me engaged, especially in those moments where I was like very uncertain of what's going to happen. It was a 90s horror movie type of thing. So I was expecting there was going to be a jump scare like at every corner, with the rah music and the classical jump scare that they don't really do in these modern movies today. But
Yeah.
I was like, even though I expected it, I was on the edge of my couch just focusing. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah, it was like there was the good tension. I think the characters that they introduced, they all had like something to them. Like you're like, like the husband. It's like, I don't have a good vibe on this guy. Like
Oh
right off the
yeah.
bat, like there's something to him, and I think they did it so well with that.
When I saw him for the first time, I knew he was going to die. I just saw it in him. Like I knew they're gonna make this character someone we're gonna dislike, or we're gonna get some type of like edge about, so that when he dies, it's like, oh, of course,
Mm-hmm.
makes
But it
sense.
takes the whole movie to get to that point.
Yeah, it takes the whole movie to
Which,
get that point. Literally,
yes,
literally.
yes, the whole movie. Yeah, I would agree. Like they did really good with that. What did you think of the Candyman himself? The whole they do I think they do a really good job of introducing the idea of urban legends and how one person can hear it from one person, and or they can hear from the same person, or so called the same source, but have completely different stories from it. And but like it initially stays the same, or at least the overall effect of it is the same.
It's like Skyrim, pretty much.
Mm.
um, it's kind of like the Bloody Mary thing. You say it 5 times in the mirror, and you're gonna die. Um,
Yeah.
gonna get murdered. No, Candyman. When I started watching the movie, I thought it was gonna be like, okay, let's say Candyman 5 times. He's gonna spawn behind you like Herobrine in Minecraft, and he's gonna kill you, right? That's
Yeah.
that's what I thought. And it's gonna do that for one actor to the other, and we're gonna have the main cast running around trying to survive. That's what I thought. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that it was more psychological than I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
going to be. The movie, like the plot and Candyman. We didn't see him in the recorded footage, but then we see him later on in a physical form anyway. And it's like, is he a mix of going into some people's mind and intoxicating them with this vision that he's there, or is he actually not there? Or
Yeah.
it's all of these kind of things. It's very psychological, and I appreciate psychological thrillers. Like if I'm going to watch a thriller or horror or something like that, I want to watch something that is psychological, not necessarily something that's
Yeah.
just like, hey, there's a guy that's a
Completely.
murderer, and it's gonna. I don't like that much. It's just boring.
Yeah. He's hunting you down and he's gonna murder you, and it's gonna be gruesome and blood's gonna be everywhere. That's not my vibe in terms of what kind of horror movies that I want to watch. Like if I want to watch a horror movie, I want to be challenged, or I want to at least think, or made to think about what's going on. They do such a good job of playing around with the fact that you don't really know if this is real or if it's in her mind. Like even the part where she was in the psychological ward and like she was locked away. They have the video feed where it's nothing is there, and then the one
Mhm.
dude dies. So you're
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? But also at the end scene, you see an actual body melting away, burning away, I should say, in the flames. That's
Yeah.
one of the last things. Like, oh, he was real.
And you can tell he was even hurt by being stabbed with the burning, wooden piece.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, he had his whole torso open with a bunch of bees. So, um, how do you, what do you make out of that? you know,
Yeah.
like in the movie they don't really explain if it's real or not, but they make me believe. They do a great job at making us believe that he is real. At the same time, he isn't real, which it kind of makes us like, was that intentional or not intentional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole point is to make it like put the decision back on you in terms of like what you want to believe.
But that makes it, the ending scene though, like the end scene with her coming back to life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Like she is now the new Candyman apparently, or a Candy Woman, or something, and but Trevor, the boyfriend or the husband, I suppose,
Yeah.
he didn't say Candyman 5 times in the mirror. She just appeared, even though she died.
Well, he said her name 5 times.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I only heard
Yeah.
I only heard him saying his like I only heard him saying the name, but I didn't pick up that it was 5 times.
Yes, he said the name. He said her name 5 times instead of the Candyman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that changes it a little bit.
Right?
But then, but it's, I'm like, but we saw her die. You know,
She was dead.
she was dead in the ground. I saw her burn alive.
It made me really think about the hook, because they do this huge thing on the hook, and I haven't looked into any of the theories or any of the other stuff around this movie, because I wanted to have a kind of open discussion on the podcast about it. Normally, like after a suspenseful movie like this, I'd go back and like I'd read like fan theories or what interviews like the directors and the writers, or like watch YouTube videos on it. But I didn't intentionally do this. But from my viewpoint, it looks as almost if the hook itself has the power that to bring them back, because it is this like symbol of like hatred. Because the little kid throws in that hook. I don't know why he did that.
His hook.
Yes, the Candyman's hook.
The Candyman's
and that's
hook.
ultimately what it's Hellen, right? Or
Yeah, yes, Helen.
that she ultimately uses to finish off Trevor.
Trevor. Ooh. Do you think though that Candyman and Helen are together now, like in the spirit realm?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
It's just Helen now going around and killing people and blaming it on others.
Exactly.
About that, by the way, what do you think about that?
What?
Just quickly here, what do you think about the fact that they go and blame it on others, the murder? That's one of the schemes that they're going with.
Yeah.
Is it part of the psychological thing that they think that they're someone else, and then they're going around and killing people, and then they black out, and then they think that there was someone else that was there, but it was actually them? Or
yeah, I think it's all in terms of trying to. I mean, the whole idea of the Candyman is to have people believing his stories, kids telling around the campfire, or like try to spook your younger brother or sister. Like that's their whole idea. The more people that believe in the Candyman, the more powerful they become. And I think that was the whole point. And if you can make it to the point where it's believable enough that you can believe it, but also there's a layer of like, no, that couldn't really happen, right?
no, it's like no way. Can it happen?
No.
What?
No.
Can it?
Someone couldn't have died and then came back with a hook hand. That's not possible.
Or is it?
Maybe.
Maybe. It's the campfire stories right there.
Yeah.
I find that no, I forgot what I was gonna say. I had it in my mind, and then we started ranting about, or not ranting, we started talking about the the campfire stories. Yeah. Yeah, no. So in the movie, you say about this campfire stuff. I believe Candyman repeats a good few times about like, without them, it's not possible. Something. I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Yeah, he basically says, without their belief, I cannot live.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, around that place. So I suppose that makes sense. That they get the source of their power is from the belief of the innocent.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds menacing.
Menacing. It does. Yeah. Their strength is from the character, or from the other people believing that they are all powerful,
Almighty and powerful. Well,
the more that people believe that they can do something, the more that they can do that thing.
Here is one other thing, though. At the end of the movie with Trevor, you see that the younger girlfriend walks in and she's holding a knife. And my instant thought with that, when she sees Trevor being dead and she holds a knife, my instant thought was, are they trying to make like a similar connection when Helen woke up in the apartment after apparently or supposedly killing the dog and the kid. You know, is that
Mm-hmm.
similarity there where whoever is being the victim wakes up with a tool that can kill, basically. Now the only thing is that she didn't have blood on her knife when she found
Yeah.
Trevor, but I'm just thinking like, is there still something connection there? Do you think that was intentional?
I do think it was intentional.
Like she cut her finger. Like I
Mhm.
know there's like some things, there's sort of like a movie rule that they say is that nothing that happens in the frame is unintentional.
Yeah. It's the whole Hitchcock idea. If you put a knife in act 1, it better be used by act 3.
Exactly. So it's just one of those things like she cut her finger. She was cutting meat uh, pretty aggressively. I'm just like, there must be some tie in here.
Yeah. So I think in terms of talking about that end scene, it trying to phrase this how I want to phrase it.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. We're on the same page when it comes to many of these conversations.
I think it's very intentional that they made her go in there carrying a knife, because there's also that it looks very bad in terms of the investigation that she was holding the knife,
Yeah.
or that her fingerprints would be on there, even though it's a completely different weapon. I think it's all about playing into the idea of whether it's real or fake, but the consequences of it are very real.
That's clearly seen from Helen's experience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Did you notice that she didn't say a single time that it was Candyman when she was
Hmm.
interrogated or when she was questioned? She never said it was. She never said
True.
it was Candyman. And my thought was like, either she's like, they're not going to believe me anyway, so I'm not going to say it, or there's got to be some other reason.
I think it's to show that she has this belief that the Candyman is. I mean, the whole point of all of that is for the Candyman, or for the Candyman to get Helen to believe in him, which we ultimately see that she kind of does with the end of, or as she goes and tries to hunt him down in that specific weird creepy room that has razor blades and candies and a child wrapped up and on this like weird altar thing. Like I think that is ultimately the idea that they want to put across, is that the reason that Helen only says it those 5 times is because she is not trying to believe in him until it's absolutely proven.
There's a possibility in that. Well, she did in the when she were interrogated, she did say, I can prove to you that he exists," and then she says the name. But that's only after she says that she's going to prove that he exists. Aside from that, she doesn't say his name unless she's investigating. But that was after when she started getting once she started getting to her first case experience with Candyman at the garage. After that, she doesn't say his name.
That's a good catch.
It's like, are you not saying his name?
Candyman.
Candyman.
Yeah. I think that was very intentional in the fact. I want to talk about one thing with this movie. One of the negatives of this movie, I'll say, one of the things that I did not really enjoy. I was talking with my brother about this before I'd even watched it, but he was saying that the movie's fantastic until the third act, and where it seems like I didn't really pull out the information from him, but I can understand that viewpoint because they set it up so gradually throughout, and I think they did pacing very well, and they had moments where it got really tense, and then it kind of like the anticipation was there very much, and then they kind of wrote themselves into a little corner, and they're like, oh crap, we have to end this movie, wait a second.
You're running
What are we
that
gonna
1 hour
do?
30 minutes mark now.
Yeah, okay, we need to end this movie, let's go. Who has ideas?
Just jam a baby in a pile of wood and then make a rescue mission. Let's go.
How'd the baby get in there?
Yeah, well, it was Candyman to place the baby in there. I did like the first act and the second act. I particularly like the first act actually, and then the third act, it was just a bit too piled up. It's a little bit like back and forth, but not really anything new. From a sort of like the director perspective, they're probably trying to visualize the mindset of the character by being all over the place and not be really is able to do anything about it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just a bit much, uh, confusing, if that makes sense. The direction wasn't that clear, but it was one thing that which I did pick up, which kind of goes into the mindset of the character. You know, when she finds Trevor and the girlfriend in the apartment, and they are painting the room, and
Yeah.
they're threatening to call the hospital. They have in the background, they have the same suspense music, or the same suspense sound that comes on when Candyman is around and it's about to do some chop chop chew, kill.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I was like, in her eyes, I see some murderous eyes there. Like if looks could kill.
Yeah. They'd be very dead.
They had the sort of like the background ambience of the phone still trying to dial or like get a
Mm-hmm.
connection with the hospital, and then the music, and then the tension of they're looking at each other. I was like, yeah, she's gonna kill someone here now. But the thing is, like that plays into the mentality that they're trying to sort of visualize her mentality, and sort of like in the third act, everything is like shoved into one ball. That makes sense, and then kicked
Yeah.
in our face.
I want to talk about another thing too. You mentioned the music. The music in this movie is so good. I love the theme.
Oh yeah.
I when I heard that, I was like, I wonder if Dinko is gonna like this or not. Like, but you do enjoy the music.
Yeah, no, I so remember I sent you the picture on Instagram with the credits.
Mm.
That's because I sat down and just listened to the music in the credits, for example. Yeah, I was just jamming it on the TV while working on something else in the background until it stopped because I enjoyed it, and it's something that's definitely going to just maybe sometime just listen again on. Just it was just casual, so, but I enjoyed it. The music itself used in the movie was used really well, and
Mhm.
that is definitely one of the reasons why, as I said earlier, it kept me. The tension was quite high, and it kept me interested in just focusing on the movie. Was definitely
Yeah.
the music, a big part of that at least.
Yeah, they didn't go overboard with it. They used it when it needed to be used, and if there was a moment where there didn't need to be music, they didn't put music there.
I I appreciate that so much.
I like there's this always this story with not that M. Night Shyamalan did this movie, but M. Night Shyamalan always says, well, this is the movie where I'm not gonna have any music in it. And then he eventually caves and then they add music in it. But he initially wants the story to be told without music. Because I think a lot of times, and there was this whole video essay about this, that Avengers movies try to use music.
I've seen
It's
that one.
not, yeah, like it's not a whole thing. Like they don't use it for the purpose of the film. He made the point that it was very predictable and that they don't use music very well in the Avengers. I think in some of the Avengers they do. I do agree that some of the music that they use in there kind of fades to the background, but that's how they want the music to be. They don't want it to be the highlight. They just want it to be there. Like if there's sad music, there's going to be, or a sad scene, there's going to be really sad music, and it's trying to pull those emotions out of you.
As I said, like sad music, they just shoot in like some strings, some violin, and then they just keep it like low end. And then that
Yeah.
makes it sad. And if it's like epic music, say Avengers, they're bringing the cello and the bass and the trombone, and then it's just the blast the theaters away, epic. Du-du-du, du-du-du, du-du-du-du-du-du. But in Candyman, it's just subtle. They just place it
Mhm.
casually, just where it needs to be to keep you like, okay, now it's time to be scared, and now it's just like now, but you don't think about it. It's there, but it sort of merges well with the scenes, and it becomes part of the movie, and not just like something that is there to get your inner emotions to affect itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you said there's some of the things that you really enjoy and some things that you didn't really enjoy? What are some of those things?
The thing that I actually really enjoyed in the movie was the cinematography. I really enjoyed the cinematography in the movie and how the camera worked. Like how, and I'm talking more specific, like not like how the camera worked by, like filming and doing the dials and stuff, but I mean like how the camera operator did specific scenes, especially in the first two acts. I really enjoyed it. It's difficult to explain. The only thing I can really say is that I did enjoy what I see and how they told the story through the camera. The film camera. Yeah, it was film camera. Of course it was film. So yeah, that's what I truly liked. I kind of already covered it. The thing that I didn't really like was the little bit of a mess in the third act. Also, it was some of the acting here and there felt cheap. Felt that I wasn't that happy with it. Some of it though, most of it was good. And yeah, no, I think that's it's not much more than that. As I said, the reason why I'm lowering it is just because overall I didn't come out watching this movie feeling that I saw something spectacular. I need to push it a little bit higher. Maybe I could give it like a 7.2.
Yeah.
To be more not 6.7, like 7.2. That's like 7.2. That's where I would say I put it. I did enjoy the editing though, at some parts as well, especially when you were just sort of like walking in a room and then you had this bright flash, quick cut over to like some gory scene and then back again, and when you didn't expect it. A lot of scenes, they do it when you do expect it. No, a lot of movies do it when you do expect it. But in this movie, they did it a few times where I just didn't expect it at all, but it worked. It worked, and it helped make the movie better.
I agree.
That's basically where I'm at with the movie, with the pros and cons.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, like you, the cinematography and the way that they just used the camera. Like, nothing was insane visually, but the movements of the camera work so well that it kind of just blends into the background.
Exactly.
And then I think the pacing towards that last act was just a little too much too quickly. But I won't like hold it against the movie. I still think I had a really fun time with it. It was intense for sure. I just wish there was a little more of a lead up story-wise to get us to that point.
Yeah, I agree with that. It felt after her best friend died, for me, things started to go a little bit like, what's going on here? Now as things are getting conflicted, I was like, this is interesting, but they really need to explain this.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish they had given more background in the whole idea of the characters doing what they were doing. Like the whole scene with her friend where it just didn't really make sense. Like there wasn't really any ramifications of those decisions. And it was like, oh yeah, now her friend's dead.
It's like, she's dead.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, she's just dead.
And we didn't really see any of the decisions or the after effects of those that much.
Especially it's like her closest friend.
Yeah.
She's just dead. And then all she does is go to Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. You're not going to even do a little bit of introspection on this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nothing? Right.
No, nothing.
I suppose in her defense, she got taken to hospital and drugged for 30 days. So, well, I didn't have that much time to think about it, but still.
Yeah. I wish there was more of those personal moments, kind of like where we get to see the characters really dealing with it. But I think they did a really good job with Trevor at that end moment where he's just kind of avoiding things right before all the intensity goes down. It's just like he's dealing with the decisions and the situations that he had basically forced to this moment.
Poor Trevor.
Poor Trevor. He did that himself.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Not really. He cheated.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
He deserved it.
He had the decisions he made earlier. They had some big effects on him.
What is it called? It's called I think it's called karma.
Yes. Karma came back and bit him in the butt.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, I think overall I really enjoyed the movie. I think there was a great it was a great package. Like, it wasn't incredible, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, as I said, it was something that I enjoyed. When I finished watching the movie, I was like, I like this. I enjoyed this. Will I watch it again? Maybe at some point when I feel like if I want to show it to someone else, I probably will just put it on again and show them. That said, I said this earlier to you before we started the podcast. You know, I'm not a big fan of horror movies in general. And just because I'm more the visual cinematography, big screen action guy like Tarantino movies,
Yeah.
you know, and like Christopher Nolan and that kind of stuff. But I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did, given that I had no expectations of the movie except for watching that 30-second low-quality trailer on YouTube.
Yes. The one from the 90s.
Exactly.
But yeah, would definitely recommend for people to watch it. It'll give a good idea. I think there was definitely some social commentary in the movie as well. Just talking about how, I mean, it's a whole, like, there's definitely the racial inequality storyline underneath the entire movie, and then I think from what I've heard, the new one takes that to an even more stark direction, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new one.
Same here. I'll definitely watch it because now I watched the first one. I got to watch the sequel.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just like, I gotta watch it. If I enjoyed the first one, I gotta watch the sequel.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it is actually a sequel or if it is a reboot.
No, I think it's a reboot because in the trailer of I'm about to say the sequel then. In the trailer of the new one, they say that he died by a shotgun in the face or something like that.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of other ones too. I forgot about that. There's a bunch of there's a lot more of the Candyman movies. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good movie. If you did enjoy this podcast, definitely do consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you never miss a video from us here at Uplink Cinema.
Hey, Sage.
Yes.
Say the name.
Candyman.
Hellen.
Hellen.